Hi everyone, Coach Sullivan here with MGS Coaching Football. My background is my 38th year coaching football. I've either been a defensive, offensive, or special teams coordinator as well as a head coach at both the collegiate and high school levels. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about one of our payload games, which means all three defensive linemen are involved. And this one is called Tango. And so one of the reasons that we utilize the name that begins with a T, similar to tennis, is it's all three, right? So tennis and tango are two of our payload games. They begin with T because it's a three-man game. And in addition to that, the three-man games, the Lucky Ringo is always to the rover. Okay, so the defensive end on the side of the rover is involved with the nose, and the opposite defensive end, I'll get to why he's still considered part of the three-man game because of what we're attempting to do. Okay, so in this particular diagram, it's a lucky because the rover is left. The rover will make the call, and the call will be echoed by inside linebackers, so the defensive end opposite can hear it and know that he is now the loop outside cage defender in this game. Okay, so again, all three are involved, and I'll get to why. Because normally he's outside cage, but the loop is different, and part of it is we would only call this in a situation where our opponent's tendencies have dictated, so 80% or more, that they're going to be throwing the ball downfield. It's going to be a longer developing pass play. Okay, so it's not necessarily third down, second, or it's the information we have through breakdown is in this situation, the tendency is they were going to throw the ball down the field. It's going to take longer. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the defensive end away from the call, the loop outside cage pass rusher. The loop is, and it looks like it to a degree, it's a slant step, but honestly, the loop is designed so that it is very little, if any, engagement with the tackle. You might have to defeat hands, but then we're not looking to be close at all to the tackle. Okay, and we're looking to get vertically up the field, never getting past the plane of the quarterback, meaning deeper, behind the cue. It does us no good. Okay. And the reason for this and why we consider him part of the three-man game, Payload, right, Tango, is this is essentially a double A gap or at least a up the middle push, potentially two in an A gap, where if we don't sack the quarterback, vertically up the middle, then we're going to force the quarterback out of the pocket, push him out of the pocket right into our outside cage defender. Okay. The other reason we would call a tango is, again, tendencies in protection. The running back, and this is an east, I know it doesn't say it, and he's also away, meaning he's opposite the tight end. If their protection, they put the back over here because he fits in on the two-man surface in this case, then we're going to execute this on the tight end side. I'm going to get to that. Or if the back is here but crosses in front of the quarterback, and bottom line, whether he starts here or starts here, he ends up on the two-man surface in the pass protection. This is why we would call a tango, okay? So as a changeup, so the offensive line can't always prepare for who the penetrator and the pick guy is versus who's the second or the looper and the read rusher, okay? We switch who does what. So in this case, the defensive end on the call side, I know down here it's written as long stick. We just tell our guy stick A. We try and eliminate verbiage, make it simple. Stick A. A lot of people call it long stick. That's why in this case I use long stick, right? So we say stick A and pick the center. So the defensive end sticking A is legitimately running through the near, hip, fin, shoulder pad of the center, in essence, picking the center. Now, obviously, if the center is blocking away from him, he's going to rip right through his butt and get up and try and sack the quarterback. Don't ever pass up an opportunity to sack the quarterback. We tell our guys that. Okay. But if the center is engaged with the nose or working to the near A gap, well, then that's when the pick would come in. Okay. Now the nose. This should happen fairly quickly. Our defensive ends are athletic. To say flash A, he's literally on the snap of the football going to step as if he's going to penetrate A, and he'll step, pretty much just at the guard, not necessarily the hip or anything, because the guard should be retreating, right? A little bit of a soft set. So he's going to flash just by simply stepping with a guard, let's just say used to be, okay? And then that would always be opposite the call. So if it's a luck, he's going to step right. Okay, so he's going to flash A, opposite the call. In this case, it's right. He's then, the loop portion of it is he's going butt side of the defensive end. Okay, this is why he's at a bit of an angle. It's not as flat a stick as usual. He's gaining ground on the stick because they should be soft setting, retreating to a degree. So he's going to gain ground as he's attacking the near fin of the center. So this loop butt side of the defensive end should happen a little bit more upfield. Okay? And at that point, he's reading the guard. So if the guard's facing him, he's into the B gap. Right? If the guard is not, so for whatever reason, if the guard has deepened to a point where he's more or less facing straight ahead, then you're going to get right up in the A gap off the butt of the defensive end. And then obviously, if he's fanning out because he's either zone, bob protection, B gap, A gap, and so the nose flashed away, so he's looking B gap, okay? Or he's double reading Bob inside outside linebacker and he didn't blitz, so now he's looking out here for this, right? Then that's a butt side read. He's going to be up in the A gap again. Okay. If the guard engages the sticking end, then you're going to be into the B gap, and those are the only reads he's going to get, to be perfectly honest. Okay. So again, Tango, 3-man game, begins with a T to the rover. And for the reasons being, we more often than not, we see a back and one back protection fit opposite the 3-man surface, even if the tight end releases into the pattern because they're figuring the rover's going with them. Okay, so then it becomes a slide sometimes from the guard, center, guard, tackle this way. He blocks here, and the running back fits in the B gap, right? Gap slide, or some people call it gap slide, man slide. Certainly not a full slide because the tackle's not sliding, but these would be the reasons why we would call Tango, okay? So that's two different ways, two different defenders who act as the penetrator and looper. So that's that much more for the offensive line to prepare for. And again, if they don't make the sack, the hope is we push him out of the pocket, okay? Excuse me. And then into the outside cage here, okay? So the flip side is there is a chance that the quarterback flushes opposite the outside cage defender, and we do not have an outside cage over here. So another reason we would call this is the tendency is for a quarterback to want to go in towards his left for whatever the reason might be, okay? So if we have a quarterback in that scenario, then that would be a reason we could gamble that he's not going to come out this way. If you have a quarterback who is going to roll maybe to his right, and so in this case, if it's 11 and the rover's left, don't want to call it. So again, these are all factors that go into your studying the opponent. What is the quarterback's tendencies in terms of where he likes to throw, where he likes to move when he's in trouble. Okay, so these are all factors that you would have to consider. As always, please reach out to me at CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com. If you have any questions, I'd love to talk football with you.